Now we're going to scrunch that down, and that's going to give us one loop on either side. So it's just a nice soft start to this design. If you want to be more bold with the back pattern, do 2 loops. So if I want to be a more bold, then I'm going to do 2. So I will do, I think I'll go with the bold look. We're going to do 6 on either side. So here, I'm twisting with the left hand back, the right hand forward. I'm going to come on this side. Now that I've done 2 on both, I'm going to scrunch it down. Yes! So you see there, we've got, basically we've created like a little star look. You know, we've got a cross. And then you want these tails to be the same length. So you're going to take and cut them at the same length. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my next ribbon to create my next layer on this bow. So when you're using this type of bow maker, what you can do is build up the bow from the bottom to the top. You can actually see it come together and form for you. So I'm going to take this one. Now this is a pretty cool ribbon. It's wired, but it's this neat jute. So it's got this great texture. But see how it's wired? Like I can do fun stuff with it. That's what you want when you're using your ribbons. You want ribbons that have like texture, depth. This one we're doing because it's got the natural touch that says cottage, softness. You know, we kept the colors. We want pink, but we don't want it too bright pink. So this is a great soft ribbon to put on top. And I really want this to be an impact. So we're going to do 3 loops of this. Just a little shorter. So instead of 6 inch, we're going to go 5.5. When you come to the center, you're going to twist 5.5 over here. And I'm going to twist right hand forward, left hand back. And so that switches as you go side to side. Right hand forward, left hand back. And we're going to do 3. So there's 2 on that side. And once you get 1 loop made, you can kind of measure off of it. You don't have to be able to see the measurement in the back each time. You can just work right off of it and twist and shape it out. So today we are building bows for a English cottage garden inspired design, and we're doing that because of Bridgerton coming back out. So very, very excited about it. Okay, bring this one down. I am letting these be a little bit longer because I'm going to curl them up. I love to curl. Now, this looks really beautiful. We could stop right here and be content with this bow. Be very dynamic, beautiful, very lots of movement going on. I am going to come in and add what we call a bow tie, and that's a little finishing piece with this ribbon right here back to the front, okay? So let's bring this dude in, and we're going to create our own little bow tie in the front. So ribbon recipes are infinite. You can change a recipe by changing the number of loops you're using. You can increase, you can decrease. And because of the way we're doing this, it's not built in stone here. You can go back and change it real easy and adjust. So you're going to cut a loop of ribbon that is about the size you want it to be. And we were at 5.5, so if I could get from 5 to 5 on here with this loop of ribbon, that'd be perfect. So this time we're not going to have a tail. So you've got to create this little loop like this, and then get these overlapping in the middle, and then bring the center down. You got to get it where it's even. Once you do that, you can just take and pleat it right up in the middle. So this is why we call it a bow tie, because you can see we just made our own little bow tie. And that bow tie goes right in the middle right here. Boom. How cute. So the bow tie is going in. Isn't that adorable? Now, what we're going to do next is come in with our cable ties and take this bow off of here. All right. So this process goes slow. Don't rush it, because this is where you could lose your whole center of your bow. You want to take your time to do this part, okay? So run that cable tie right beside the dowels, which means it's going to be a little off to the right. And while you do that, you're going to add pressure on top and bring that up. And I'm going to start to get a little pressure on here, okay? Now that I've got that up, I'm going to rotate this around to the back, and then we're going to fluff it out. Y'all, Moo's in the house. Anybody want to say hi to Moo? Hi, Moo. What you doing? Moo had a big migraine and had to miss school this afternoon. How are you doing, baby?
Doing all right.
The lights in here might be a little bright.
Yeah, that's why I'm covering them.
Okay. What do you need, sweetie?
What are you wearing on Animal Kingdom Day?
Time out, y'all. We got an important Disney question. The day we go to Animal Kingdom, what are we wearing?
Like, what do you have ideas?
Let's wear Wreck-It Ralph to Animal Kingdom.
Really?
Well, we don't have any Animal Kingdom stuff.
Avatar. Literally, paint our faces.
We
blue
don't have
and then walk
Avatar
out.
gear, Kaya.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my
Because I'm trying to
gosh.
make custom
Oh my
earrings.
gosh. We have an emergency. Okay, Kaya, I've got to teach bow making right now so we can make our next appointment. But we'll be back.
Oh,
You guys, if you have ideas of what we should wear to Animal Kingdom, put in the comments.
is it alive?
Yes, I'm live and I am recording.
Oh.
Kaya's like, what is happening?
Wait, so there's people?
There's people watching on YouTube, TikTok,
Ooh.
and I'm recording so we can make a nice, beautiful, edited video.
Oh. We probably have to
Sorry,
edit me
y'all.
out now.
Sorry. Okay, yes, we are editing you out. Live viewers are dropping. No. Okay.
Wow.
Bye,
I
love
see
you.
how you are.
I'm joking.
I really see. I see your action.
All right, I gotta get back. We gotta edit out that whole part. So let me get back focused. All right. So once we get it off the bow maker, we've got to take and fluff it all out. We're fluffing it all out. We're putting the loops where they need to go. And this is a really important part of the process because you've got to be able to shape it up right now. And that includes pulling the tails where you want them to go. But once you're ready and you think you've got it where you're happy with everything, you're going to flip that over and you're going to come behind and you're going to add a pressure there to hold it while you're pulling that cable tie really tight. And that's what's nice about cable ties. Even when you get ready to take it off, you can get one more little punch in there, pull that off. Now, what you're going to do to finish it out is we got to finish out the center. Okay? So the center has the green cable tie in there, and we don't want to see that. So it's up to you what ribbon you put in the center. You guys can let me know in the comments which one you want to see in there. I generally don't pull a third ribbon that's not in the bow, but you could. You could do that. You could totally do that. But I'm going to take the jute. I'm going to put the jute in there. Okay? But if you have another idea, you tell me what you would. Thanks for the likes and the follows, the shares, all the things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You certainly help me out every time you guys do that. And do that for not just me, but anyone you follow on your favorite social platform, because that means the world to them. Especially if you can't go purchase from them yet, or you're waiting to purchase or something like that. When you can share or give them hearts, love, all of that kind of stuff, it really helps them out. All right, so that jute, you see I folded it on itself? I've got a nice little strip and it's super cute. Now run that right down the middle. As soon as you do that, it like instantly makes the center of the bow stinking adorable. These little details like taking the time to get the center of the bow looking good, or adding in details of the florals that you'll see as we do the wreath and we put it together, they matter because details equate to more money when you get ready to sell your pieces if you're a seller. And of course, the better it looks, the better it's going to be on your door if you just want to make something beautiful for yourself. So take a little time, don't get rushed. Wreath making is a process in floral design. It's a process. So if you take your time and enjoy it and don't rush through it, you can really use it like therapy. And it's not an inexpensive hobby, but I bet you it's cheaper than therapy. Oh, so look how beautiful. Look how beautiful that bow is. So there is our bow. And we're going to use this for our cottage floral wreath. And it's just so sweet and beautiful. So you guys, see, can you make a bow like this? I bet you can. I want you to give it a try and give it a try. You can do it. Okay, let me do that one more time to the camera because I think I did that to you guys on TikTok and I didn't do it to the camera. Here's our bow, and you can make a bow just like this. I know you can do it. Give it a try. All right. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to start to build the main part of the video. So we'll be making one video on how to make the bow, and then we're going to have the main video. So if you guys just tuned in late to the live or you just got here, no worries. This will all be recorded and really nice and neat for you to go back and watch later. So that's the first step. One thing I didn't do is curl these tails up, but we can do that when we get ready to put it on the wreath. So let me just kind of grab a few supplies here we're going to need for the wreath making. I got to bring the glue pot over. And we're going to put this Bridgerton wreath together. That's so funny, Kaya's planning our trip to Disney in June. She's getting it all planned out. Yes, we've been having fun shopping on Etsy, getting some ears to coordinate with shirts that we have. But, you know, we've got different themes going, so it's so fun. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, let me grab my wreath base, which I'm going to use a 14-inch wreath base. And, oh, I already put it over here. This is a really good one, too. Sometimes you get a really good wreath base. Now, the way I have this camera set up, it looks like I have enough room. I'll have to rotate this around. Get out of here, spammer. Okay. Thanks for the follow. Thank you so much, guys. I call my fans Bloomerinos, so you're now a Bloomerino. Yes, if you're following and liking, you are an official Bloomerino. You guys named yourself in 2018, so you are officially named. Okay, so we're going to get ready to film this. We are going to start off with our larger picks. So let me get these ready. We're going to use these. I've already fluffed them out. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to start recording that, and we're going to rock and roll. So let me leave a pause here so she'll see a pause in the recording. Because I'm never quiet. All right, here we go. Hey, Bloomerinos, are you ready to make our cottage beautiful, inspired English garden wreath? Because that's what we're about to make together. So come on in and let's get started. On this wreath base, we're going to use these beautiful, they're a daisy pick. They're kind of a spray because they're larger. They have 3 pieces on here that you can easily take apart. The nice thing is this type of pick, that this is all coming from Calise.com, everything we're going to use today. It has a nice leaf in here as well as like a filler flower, and it has the main flower. So a combination of all that together really works. And this is going to be our brighter color pink, and we're going to use a couple of those in there. Don't forget the whole supply list is available for you at Calise.com. It's also linked here in this video, so you can go over and see exactly what we used for each project. The wreath base itself is 14 inches. Now, this is something so fun. This is a new green berry we just got in, and it has a killer leaf. So the combination of this is going to work like a greenery too, because it's green, but also a filler flower. So that's going to pull out this beautiful green color that's in our main ribbon we're using. And you can see how pretty that combo is together. So our bow for this project is done on another video, but together we're going to mix these two, and that's going to pull out the pretty green and of course the pink. And in order to soften the pink and give it that cottage vibe that we're going for, then we're going to come in at the end with these mini roses. These are called boho roses because they have this kind of neat vintagey look, but they still have a great color, mauvey pink, and they have like a little baby's breath in there too, which is a lot of fun to go together. So these will be our main pieces we're using for this wreath and our 2 ribbons. And once again, the supply list is available for you on Calise.com. We have it linked here. So we're going to get started in creating our base. Of course, you'd want to put your hanger on first, and we can insert the hanger video right here so you know how to put on the hanger, and you can put your own hanger on right on the top of your wreath, okay? And after your hanger's on, we're going to start off with these, and these are going to tear apart into sections. Now, when you get your supplies, no matter where you get them from, you always have to manipulate them because everything comes, you know, compact for shipping, and you've got to open it up. We call that shaking hands in design school, where we teach hundreds of students every week how to take and make floral designs on their own and learn the techniques so they can make beautiful pieces at designer level. So we've already done that with these. We've shaken hands with them. We've said, hello, nice to meet you. And then we're able to take and trim and clean these up. So with the last piece, I always like to cut it a little bit longer, and keep these 2 pieces shorter. Now, once you tear them off, you do have to clean up the little nasty edges because you will just be fighting going in. You will notice I do not use a pick machine. You will never see me use one. That's because I've been doing this 26 years, and a pick machine is good to use when you have really cheap florals that you need to have a good stem, and it's quick. But pick machines jam all the time, they also are very sharp and dangerous. And then you really don't want to use picks and wreaths anyway. So if you learn how to buy better supplies that have stronger bases and foundation, you can eliminate pick machines from your whole business, and then you have extra money to spend on other floral supplies because they're expensive and the maintenance of them never stops. So instead of getting frustrated with that, just learn from Khalidi right now how to omit that and never have to use that. Now when you're trimming down these, make sure you keep these nice wires, guys. These are perfect for hangers, okay? So you can save these. You'll have to kind of either retape this with floral tape if you need a longer piece, or trim it off. But these are great wires for excellent hangers. And then if you do craft shows and you want to sell your wreaths there, make sure you put hangers on your wreaths, especially if you want to sell on Etsy, because customers need to know how to hang these things up when they arrive, because that box is going to come upside down and you are going to die the first time they put a review up of your wreath and they say, "We love it, 5 stars," and it's upside down. You are going to, you know, I know this because it's happened to me. So I've learned, just go ahead and get that sign on, hanger on there so they know. Get the hanger on that wreath. Okay, we're going to start off with our shaping this out. The first thing you got to do on your design is decide where you want that bow. And for me, I'm going to put that bow low and to the left. That's my go-to position for my signature C-shaped wreath that I make. And that's one of my best sellers, so you're going to see me make this all the time. So we're going to start putting these in. Now the other thing I don't have on my table yet I need to grab is my Spanish moss. So I'm going to use Spanish moss. This is our Chartreuse color Spanish moss, BeOnCleese.com. I use this to cover glue. So you never want to see your glue or your mechanics. So that's going to be a little bit out of camera, but I want you to know you're going to see me bringing it over in a second. So let's start to shape this up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come over, load this with glue, come up high, and press that in. Oh, maybe press it in. Into the wreath, just like this, and start shaping up my design. I got to come over just a little bit here, a little bit more room. On that glue, you're going to go ahead and take and cover that right away. You just use the glue like a little sandwich between the wreath and the moss, and it helps create a stronger foundation for everything to go in. So we're going to start to shape this out. Every time you go in that glue pot, you want to hold that like a pencil, swirl it in, and start shaping out your base. Now in design school, we teach a lot about the principles of threes and shapes and lines. So you're going to see me doing some of that here today and bringing this together. But that way, when you learn the principles when you're in our class, you can use those for every season. You can start to develop your own designs using the principles that you learn. Like right now, we're rocking out patriotic. We have done Mother's Day. Of course, we did Easter earlier in the year. And we're always working ahead. So like we will be starting fall coming up in June and Halloween. So it's a great time to join our class so you don't miss any of the seasons. And the difference of between being in our class and then being like on a live here is you're going to get it step by step by step, like baby steps. So if you're a beginner, you're good. If you're more advanced, you can come in and just quickly go through the things you know how to do in our portal, and then you could go to the section of the video you want to learn, like maybe a little tip or trick we did that was different than we normally do. We have a portal set up at KhaleesDesignSchool.com, and you guys can always go over there and check it out, take a look and see what it's about to sign up for our class. Okay, so I've got the top done. Now I'm working on the bottom. We're going to start putting these in. Don't forget, I've got to work on my shape. I've got to think about how I'm putting these in at each section and spacing them out. I'm going to work a little backwards right to where I'm going to put the bow. We call the bow the transition point area. Generally, sometimes we don't have bows in our pieces, and I'm a fan of that too. I like both. And some of the younger generation is no bows, and the West Coast isn't so in love with ribbon, but the East Coast still likes it. So it just depends on what's trending there, and those things can change quickly, of course, really quickly. So I'm going to put my final piece right down here. So I've kind of got a great shape starting. And basically I'm mirroring what I'm doing on the top and what I'm doing on the bottom. So I've got it shaped out. I'm going to push that in good. Yes. And make sure these leaves are facing forward. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is leaves backwards. I hate when greenery won't stay forward. So I try to carry pieces that allow the leaves to be manipulative because they're wired. So that's the kind of products you're going to find on Calise.com. All right, let me pull these off to the side, and we'll have our bow in just a minute, but I'm going to pull this off. So we're leaving that little section intentionally open because that's where the bow is going to be going eventually. Let me scoot our glue pot over and let's get a little bit more room here. Okay, now we're going to use these boho roses as our final filler pieces. So these will fill in at the end. So this is going to work as what we call a filler flower also, but a greenery because it's in the green family. But it's so cool that it has a berry on it. Now these are long and wispy, which you can do, and you can keep this very romantic and long and wispy, which will go great with the cottage theme. So in order to do that, I'm just going to cut off a few branches here. And you may not want to use all of these, it just depends. I'm a big twig girl, so I like a lot of dramatic twigs coming out, adding the dimension. You may have heard me say before, dimension means more money in your pocket when you're selling pieces. Because you don't want to compete with the local big box store on wreath making. You want to be the next level. Because in theory, if you can have a better quality piece you make, you'll be able to charge more. And eventually you don't have to sell as many wreaths. If they're priced right, you can make each piece, you know, a work of art. So let's start in with some of these longer pieces and shoot them right through the main sections of the wreath. So here's what we got so far, looking good. And I'm going to go right between there. That may be a little long, so if you feel like it's a little long, just take one little section off. Save that. We can use this in a minute. You can use all these pieces. You don't have to think you have to throw it away or something. No, we can save it. So I'm going to go right between. Very nice. Now I'm going to go up above to the top with this smaller piece. Now if you can't see the glue when you go in, you don't have to moss it. You're good. You can just let it go in. But if you can see the glue, you've got to cover it with moss. That's one of the things we don't want our mechanics showing ever. That's the detail part I was talking about earlier. You've got to pay attention to these details. So I'm going in my electric skillet. That's my glue pot that allows me not to pull triggers on glue guns. I don't pull triggers. I learned that lesson when I was younger. If you're going to sell thousands of wreaths, you cannot do thousands of trigger pulls. You just can't keep pulling and pulling that trigger, or you're going to end up having problems later. So you've got to make sure you use something like this electric skillet. It's so simple. So simple. And we have our favorite wreath making supplies link for you too on the blog. So if you need that link, let us know in the comments. We'll get back to you. And you can know exactly which one we use. Now, and when I'm doing high production, and we are making wreaths to sell on Etsy, then we are using a larger skillet than this because I like to be able to put big things in there. Okay, I want you to see the difference. See the top? See the dramatic pieces we added? That's adding the really, the elegance. And you've got the dimension. And you see that movement? The movement is what catches people's eyes. So when that's on someone's door and the wind blows, it looks real because it's moving. So keep that in mind as you start to create your pieces. How can I add depth and dimension and movement? All of that is key to being able to have a piece that is a little bit higher level design. Okay, let's start with our longer piece kind of coming out right out of the middle, just like we did on the top. And we're going to come right through here. Beautiful. This one I'm going to run a little bit more in the background. I don't want these all in the background. Like I want a few in the foreground, but I'm kind of working them around. And this one will be on the left. How cute are these? I'll put that one in there. Great. And then I need one more behind. And then what I'm going to do is I've got my little pieces we had a little while ago, and I'm going to save this one big piece, and we can kind of cut it down and use it to fill in spaces kind of more towards the front once we get our ribbon in. Okay, let's go behind the bow. And we'll bring that over here. Beautiful. And try to manipulate it where the leaves are forward if possible so you can see them. You can just rotate them around. Really pretty. Now, I've got a few pieces of the berries left. You want to hold on to those. That's something I teach, that we need to have pieces from the background work their way to the front. It's very important to not just cover things up, okay? So we've got a great shape started off. Look how pretty. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at this. This is so pretty. That's the top. There's the bottom. Excellent shape. And let's get our bow in next, and then we'll be working around that bow. So the bow video is linked in the description to this video as soon as it gets published, so you'll be able to see the bow, how to make it yourself if you did not catch it. So we're cable tying this on right in that section that we left open. We call that the bow zone. I'm going to pull that tight to the base in this case. And once it's on there, you can manipulate it around and shape. Oh my gosh, look how soft that's just so beautiful. That adds this lovely softness. Now I want to shape it up where it's going to flow down. And these tails are going to work in this little hole right here. Rotate that to the center a little bit. There we go. Now, make sure you have to be the boss of your tails. Like, you can't just put it in and be like, oh, I'm good. No, that won't work. You have to get in here. You got to curl them up and then use those gorgeous wires. Oh my gosh, that's so cute in there. I love how this ribbon does that. It does that little ringlet. Yeah, you're so cute. All right, let's go down with those. Beautiful, beautiful. And so now what we're going to do, you want to grab those boho roses, and we're going to soften all of this, and we're going to work a little more to the center. So this bush is already sectioned out into 3 sections for you. So just go ahead and take them out like this and leave about an 1 to 2 inch stem. And we can break them down more from here. And the supply list is available at Calise.com. We have the, also, we have it linked for you here. Okay. So let's start in with one right above the bow. That's like an important space. We can really pop this pink. So I'm just getting, when you see me spinning, I'm getting rid of that glue string. I hate glue strings, but you can control it by spinning your glue on itself. Oh my gosh, see how that picks up, this baby's breath picks up the brown in the bow? Boom, that's pretty. Beautiful. So we're gonna use 2 pieces above the bow of this. This bush is killer because it is like, it fills in the holes in your piece like magic. And because they're all on one stem, it's really beautiful. See how pretty that rolled in? And you can take and manipulate these forward because they are nicely wired. Now my last piece is going to go below the bow. So below the transition right in the middle, I'm going to tuck that right tight to the bow. So make sure you pull those cool baby's breath forward because that's what's tying in that brown color. So when you're in design school, one of the nice things is I have supplies and projects planned out way months ahead of time, years ahead of time actually. So that way everything coordinates together, and we try to teach trending styles and designs. That way your pieces will be able to sell for you if you're a seller. And we've got lots of people in the class though who do not sell, they just love creating. So don't feel like the pressure you have to be a seller to be in our class. It's fine if you aren't as well, because some people just want to make their house beautiful and they've always wanted to learn these tips and tricks. So now we're going to take these berries that we have left and we're going to cut them down into cute little sections. So when I'm making cuts, I'm looking at the cut here. So that way I get a berry and a couple leaves and on a short stem. Okay, so you can't just go in there and start chopping or you're going to waste cuts. See how I'm cutting there? So that can be a berry and this can be its own little cute stem. So pay attention when you're doing your cuts and you're going in. So now we're going to use this like a little filler. It's going to go in any holes that we missed as we're going around. Or if there's spacing issues, like there's a little bit of a gap between one thing to another, this is where you're going to fill in with these. Okay, so I'm going to take the ones that are a little choppy that we cut up that aren't quite as cute. We've got one that's really cute because it's got the little leaves and the twig. So you save that for the end, and you save this little berry one for the end. But you work these in and around the bow. So this wreath design, it's not hard. It's a great beginner design, really. I'm going to go off to the side so that can pop out the side of that bow and fluff out this bow. Now I'm going to take this really cute one, cut this a little shorter, and we're going to go right into the middle of the bow. That's one of those detail zones you want to really think about when you're creating. Go right into the middle. Boom. I love you right there. You're beautiful. And then flip that leaf around. And then we got to get a little of this. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Now let's go down here to the bottom. I'm going to add a couple right here at the edge. Oh, this is so great. And when we do design school, I make sure that the wreaths, I generally make them standing on a wreath making board, and you get close-up view so you can get the great angles and seeing exactly how to create it. Okay, look it! Oh my gosh, Bridgerton, eat your heart out, baby! Woo! She turned out beautiful. She's so elegant. We made some great choices here with our ribbons and our florals, and putting this little bit of olive greenery in there that came on that boho bush. Gave us a little brown tones that picked up this ribbon, and the whole combo together is stunning, 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 stunning. So I hope you're inspired to create your own Bridgerton inspired wreath. This is awesome. Okay guys, I'm gonna film right now some outros and intros, so for TikTok, actually for YouTube later. So you're gonna hear me do a couple of those now, but we've actually finished the whole project. Okay. Do you want to make this cottage designed blah blah blah? No, cottage inspired. Let's try it again. Don't use that one. Redo. Do you want to make this cottage English garden wreath with me? I can't wait to make it with you. Let's do it. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the wreath up to the camera and back down a few times. Then I'm going to throw it on the table. Boom. Oh, my sign went down. Psych. Y'all know you have to do all this stuff when you're making these videos? You don't have to do this. We just try to be, we're trying to be extra cool and work hard to have really premium videos and do our best to keep improving our content we put out for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed making this with me. I can't wait to see you make your own. And I will see you next time, Blue Merinos. Bye, everybody.